Hi, and welcome back to Spirit Lounge. I'm just going to make sure we actually are live on these. Yep, we are streaming. I just want to make sure. I thought I'd cut it off before then. Okay, so we're going to continue on with our passage through the Anguttara Nikaya. I'm just going to get this ready so that we can proceed with this. Sorry, I didn't set up the window for this correctly before it started. Okay, we're going to go into the Ekaka Nipata and some others along in this particular PowerPoint slide. So I'm just going to bring it onto the screen. Okay, here we go. So where we are, continuing through the Anguttara Nikaya, and this is the Ekaka Nipata. There will be other ones in this slide deck, but this is one we're going to start off with. Again, the Tipitaka is the teachings of the Buddhist faith. All that we know about the Buddhist teachings are supposedly in this Pali. It contains five major sections, collections called nikayas. This is the fourth of the fifth of five, mainly blocked into suttas, which are dialogues and discourses and homilies. The Anguttara is an increment of each homily, each section or book on Nipata gives an additional piece teaching that and it extends upon the one on the previous Nipata. Hence, the increment of one, meaning of the Anguttara. So it's actually rather big, rather large, with several thousand sutras, and this is a condensed version in this book. Okay, see Ekaka Nipata. On the female's form's attraction to males. This is an interesting little passage. Males form attraction to females. On the sound and scent of a female, the scent of the male, the suffering that results from an ensnared and confused and unruly mind. So this is talking about sense and physical desire. Happiness from a liberated, clear and well-tamed mind. On controlling the mind in order to dispel ignorance, attain knowledge, extinguish suffering and reach the quiet shore of Nibbana. Absolutely, it speaks for itself, that sentence. On how the pure and impure mind, on the changeability of the mind, on the power of diligence to create good states of mind, and to dispel evil states of mind, on the power of mindfulness and diligence to overcome greed, confusion, attachment, and the desire for bad associations. Good associations accompanied to create good states of mind and dispel evil states of mind. This is, again, speaks for itself. Value of wisdom overly wealth and relations. On the merit resulting from earnestness. To be earnest. On singular nature of the Buddha, who is the one born for the benefit of humankind. Remember, there are many Buddhas. What is a Buddha? It's not the form that we attach. A Buddha is anyone and anything who's passing on divine teachings and expressing them in their own lives in every action, word, thought and intention. Passing on teachings and gnosis that they are achieving from their own journey towards Nibbana. This is the Buddha, this is the Christos, this is the Christos expressed within us. We are not reincarnations of Buddha, but we can be Buddhic. We can be expressing the Christos, but we're not Yeshua, we're not Isa, we're not Jesus. These were elevated avatars who came to provide us with teachings, just as many others. Okay, the singular nature of Buddha, who is one born for the nature of human radiant and is supremely good character, on the merit of Sariputta in keeping the wheel of Dhamma turning. Sariputta was a disciple. On the chief disciples of the Buddha, Anakandana, Sariputta, Mahamoggallana, Kassapa, Anuradhu, Badiya, Bharadvata, Puna, and Kahana. These also have in the writings that I'm reading. Some passages are from these disciples, and you'll see them spread throughout as we pass through them. On right view, impermanence and self, on the nature of the world, on the rarity and difficulty of being born human, on the greater number of births as devas, as animals, and in hell. We are not born as animals. You cannot go further back than the form that you're in. It has no purpose to it. So this is dogma from those times. Okay, this is in those times they said you would become an animal because you ate meat or you were harmful to animals. This is not the case You'll always be of human form, but your soul will be of regressed nature. Remember, the form, the nature, the expressive nature of where you've determined the soul to be, and the human form is that which it needs to express further to move forward. It's not going to go backwards, but the soul can regress, even in a human body. How many out there in this world we sometimes look upon and say these people are no better than an animal, where they behave as if they were dogs, but they are in human forms. It's because their soul's vibration can regress, can go backwards, can go forwards, can be indifferent, can be stagnated. But if they're in human form, they will always be incarnated into one until they evolve through Nibbana, enlightenment beyond material form. On karma, in the immediate results of karma, on the future of karma, on torture and punishments meted out in this life by the authorities of this world, on using fear of worldly punishment to create a healthy fear of the immediate results of bad karma. So this is talking about human law. In reflecting on punishments as motivation to leave evil acts undone and to spur the undertaking of good acts. So again, this is imposition of human law, material law, matter law, this worldly law, to stop you from having evil acts. On living carefully versus living recklessly. On how shame and aversion protect the world from social chaos. On the power of deduction and development. On delusion as the process of meditation. On the negative fruits of evil deeds. On the delusion, let's read this again. On delusion as the process of meditating on the negative fruits of evil deeds. This is what's called foul and loathful meditation. This is, remember, the narrow channel on the left of the broad is going towards darkness and very heinous satanic Luciferian practices and beliefs, false gods, demons, and all that kind of thing. Meditating, moving energy towards those are of delusion. In this and future lives, and thus deciding not to undertake evil deeds, on two types of fold: those who do not recognize their faults as faults, and those who do not forgive those who, have recognizing their faults, seek forgiveness for their faults. On equanimity, fairness, remember, not judgment. On lowly people being those who are ungrateful. I'm not really sure that statement applies is reality. I'm not sure what it's mean by lowly people. Everyone can be ungrateful. They don't have to be poor or of uneducated mass. And actually, more the opposite is true in reality. On good people being those who are grateful. Well, determine what that really means. It means godliness or grace, doesn't it? Moving towards grace, you have more gratitude. Move to godliness, you have less gratitude. On the two people that cannot be repaid with wealth, one's mother and father. On the comparison of different types of pleasure, household life and holy life, sense pleasure and the renunciation of sense pleasure, form-based and form-free pleasure, distraction-based and focus-based pleasure, because this is the duality of the two. It's the left or the right, the matter or the non-material states of being. On karma and the great patterns of causality. When this is, that is. When this isn't, that isn't. On the rise of unworthy thoughts and the elimination of unworthy thoughts based upon various causes, feelings and consciousness, perception, formation, importance, purpose, cause, foundation, matter. On the paired groups of foolish and the wise. Foolish ones who detect demerit when there is no demerit. Of do not detect merit where there is merit. Unguarded senses and uncontrolled indulgence. Protected senses and controlled indulgences, honesty and quietness. Suffering without complaint. Well, no, we're not here to suffer and we're not here to complain. We're here to move into divine grace, is light where there is no suffering. Hence I put no. Purity and immortality and wrongdoing. The Digha Nipata. On how foolish people are known by their wrong thoughts, works and actions. On how wise people are known by their good thoughts, words and actions. On how fools earns rebirth in hell, and hell through three evil stains, which is stains of evil, stains of envy, stains of selfishness. On the three things that lead to the ruin of gods, monks and men: incorrect thoughts, speech and actions. Words, thoughts and intentions, I would add on to that. On the Buddha's certain three-step method of attaining enlightenment: controlling the mind, controlling the appetite, and remaining wide awake. On three types of people: those with minds like wounds, minds like lightning, minds like diamonds. Three types of speech: this would be, of course, spiritual perception of mind. Three types of speech: unpleasant, true, and pleasant. Three types of vision: blind, one-eyed, and two-eyed. On three types of wisdom: upside down wisdom, upside down cups. Wisdom cannot be poured, which is what the upside down cups mean. Hear the truth but pay no attention. On wisdom, who collects wisdom and understands it, but as soon as life gets busy, all their wisdom is scattered upon the ground. How many people do this virtuous spirituality and say they have wisdom, but actually don't practice it? On broad wisdom, who carry wisdom in their hearts and use it mindfully in all situations. We all have difficult times, and we all have anxiety and worry and distraction because of those things. But always remain in your spiritual journey and ask for assistance to pass through it, and to be shown peace as you're passing through it, and it will always be given. These are things that I've actually done in myself. I always do this. On meditation and meditative techniques that conduce to enlightenment through wisdom and the destruction of ignorance. On three opportunities to gain merit and to be faithful, to give a gift, to accept a gift. Three types of decision: of faith, of generosity, of accepting. And three encourages by the Buddha, which is generosity, the life of a monk, and reverence for parents. Life of a monk means spiritual journey. On three views that all things are the result of past action: an all-powerful creator God, or chance. The Buddha's refutation of these three views and expounding upon of his own doctrine, the six elements, which is earth. He's saying the six elements are earth, water, fire, air, space, and consciousness. The six sense organs are internal spheres of contact, and the 18 elements, which is eye, sight, forms, eye consciousness, ear consciousness, sound consciousness, ear consciousness, nose consciousness, smells consciousness, nose consciousness, tongue, taste and tongue consciousness, body, touch, body consciousness, mind, ideas, and mind consciousness. There doesn't mean so much abstraction here, but it's effectively saying that these are the forms in which we elevate through spirituality, through the material sense aspects and that which is non-material sense aspects. The Four Noble Truths: suffering, the source of suffering and the cessation of suffering, and on the path that leads to suffering. On the four meditative ecstasies: the state of being aloof from desires but still observant and reflective of desires, cut off from desires and of a peaceful heart; the state of being happy, mindful, and at peace with everything as it is; the state beyond pleasant and unpleasant and perfect mindfulness. This again is taken from the broad to the narrow channel, from complete mindfulness of state. On the Buddha's assertion that people should inherently know what is good and laudable and what is bad and blameworthy, well, I think we all know what is laudable and what is not, what is good and what is bad. We all know this. We take free will choices to ignore them. On the Buddha's endorsement of inquiry and searching and investigation into the truth of all doctrines, this is correct. The Buddha did say and espouses a study of all doctrines, not just his own, including his own, on how to know when a doctrine is a false doctrine and when it leads to ill will, ignorance, and greed, and violations of the 5 moral precepts, which is killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, lying, and intoxication. So all doctrines should be judged upon those things. If they're true spiritual ones, then shouldn't we have any of those in them, of course? If karma exists, there is the possibility of heavenly rebirth. If karma does not exist, there is the benefit of having lived without ill will or greed, lived a present life, here and now. The monk Nandako's advice to Salha: to give up hesitancy and doubt, to give up hearsay, receive wisdom, to give up logic, give up gurus, give up wrong view, give up ill will, ignorance and greed. When a doctrine is a false doctrine, it leads to the opposite of all of these things. I agree with the give up gurus, rabbi, priests and popes, because ultimately it will always be you, but you can pass through though. On the definition of being or becoming, rebirth is assured when consciousness is seeded by an ignorant person's craving and by attachment to that craving. On the 3 duties of a monk, remember, any spiritual person, to cultivate virtue, to cultivate mind, meditative skills, to cultivate wisdom, within, without, gnosis, enlightenment, those in a higher state of sanctification, and will be reborn no more than 3 times before finding enlightenment. Now, these number of lives that it states you will have, this is not accurate. You will have as many as you choose to have, depending on the free will choices you make on that perceptual spiritual journey. Remember, you choose how many petals you have, how many stones there are across the river, and how many lifetimes you'll live before Nibbana attains in this material space of matter. Only partial mindful and partially complete in wisdom, in a lower state of sanctification, and will be reborn no more than 7 times before finding enlightenment. Again, this is arbitrary. On how a person creates and experiences karma, on how even a small amount of karma can result in rebirth in hell. Hell, what is this? Well, hell is really just what we understand it to be. We create hell here, we'll create hell in death, because we were so fixed in what hell is, we could put ourselves there, and we can put ourselves in a false state of what we call heaven by having a perceived and fixed perception of what that is and recreate it through thought. Remember, thought persists. Our consciousness will always persist and project what we think is in heaven after death. And the true gnosis of it is that there is actually nothingness, a beautiful grace of all things in a state of nothingness, where it is thought, instantaneous expression which creates what you wish to experience around you. On how knowledge of the satisfaction, peril and liberation from suffering is the criteria for demonstrating genuine samanas. Samanas are travelling ascetics who believe that a life of deprivation and wandering is the path of self-actualization. It can be, but it also cannot. It's not needed, by the way. And Brahmin is a member of a caste of Vedic Hinduism consisting of priests and teachers who are held as intermediaries between deities and followers, and are considered to be protectors of the sacred learning found in the Vedas. But again, we don't need to be worshipping Brahmins either. On how the very real perils of the world can serve as a motive for seeking an end to the clinging of the world. On the very real victories over clinging to the world being the motive to seek liberation from suffering. On the disciple's mind as the first defense against wrong thought, speech and wrong action. Of course, the mind is what we must calm and must have control over. On 3 things that lead to hell, vowing to live under the Buddha's dispensation and breaking that view, mixing with those who live under the Buddha's dispensation and defending the view. On 3, a monk should require a keen mind, searching mind, and a steadfast mind. Well, we all need to acquire those. On the Buddha's great truth, impermanence of all karma formations. Yes, they're not permanent, they can be resolved. On 3 things that lead to enlightenment for a monk, a great accumulation of virtue, which is soul towards spirit, a mastery of right concentration, which is meditation, knowledge, prayer, gnosis, and a great accumulation of wisdom, enlightenment, and how censurable, how wicked, how impure thoughts, words, action leads to rebirth into hell. On how fools destroy themselves by creating bad karma and demerit, by inharmonious thoughts, speech, actions, by tainted thoughts, speech and actions. The difficult way, believing that there is nothing wrong, a way of mortification, torturing the body, a middle way, by virtue of the fourfold way of establishing mindfulness. With mindfulness and awareness, reflection of the body in order to eliminate craving and unhappiness with the world. With mindfulness and awareness, reflecting upon the sensations in order to eliminate craving and unhappiness with the world. And mindfulness and awareness, reflection upon the nature of the mind in order to eliminate craving and unhappiness with the world. And finally, with mindfulness and awareness, reflection upon Buddhist teachings in order to eliminate craving and unhappiness with the world. So we're moving through different ways away from self-mortification. We're moving towards reflection past the body. We're moving away and reflection across reflection upon the sensations, our sensations, and then moving past through mind, then moving into the teachings, into Nibbana. And finally, for this section, on following the Buddha's middle path by cultivating the four right efforts, preventing new bad karma, eliminating old karma and generating new karma and maintaining existing good karma, by developing the five powers of faith, vigor, mindfulness and concentration and wisdom, by way of 7 factors of enlightenment, mindfulness, investigation into Buddha's teaching, vitality, joy, serenity, concentration, equanimity, which is basically composure, evenness, fairness and mental calmness, by cultivating the noble eightfold path of right view, right thoughts, right speech, right actions, right effort, right mindfulness and right concentration. What is right? Right is, as I mentioned, stimulating action, words, thoughts and intentions, mental, emotional, physical, spiritual and ethnical through the soul's transition and cleansing towards the breath of God. That is what all these right things are. It's not virtuous human right, it's not mind right, it's not self-egotistic right definition. It is spiritual movement into speech, action, effort, mindfulness, thoughts, view, and concentration. Okay, thank you so much for listening to this. Again, you are the second coming. There have always been avatars that have come and given man everything it needs. There is nothing else we need. It is already here. It is for us to study it and understand it. There are not going to be any avatars saving humanity from itself. We are here to save ourselves, and you are here to save yourself. This is how it is. This is the full redemption, is from within self. And transformative spirituality, not egotistic, ego-driven spirituality. Move away from those things. If this is what you're practicing, it will be of little fruit. Okay, I want to say thank you to everyone for listening to this. I appreciate it. I hope you all enjoyed this continuation of our passage through Buddhism. We'll continue through this Nikaya over today and tomorrow, and look forward to seeing you all again on the next one. And again, please leave your comments and your feedback. I do appreciate it. It helps me tremendously to know that it's helping others, that this channel is helping you. And leave your comments and any likes, and share this channel with others if you think that would value from it. Thank you again. God bless you all until next time. Thank you.